Hello, in this screencast we're going to talk about creating a simple thread, running the thread in Android and the runnable interface, and we'll also look at thread pools. Okay, so to create a thread is straightforward. Let's say we have a simple application here, and let's say what I'm going to do is we'll put a button somewhere here inside the UI, and then this button would, whenever we click it, it would trigger the button actually would trigger starting a thread. Okay, which is not a good idea if you're not using a pool, but just for the sake of experimentation we'll do this. So now the text of the button is start. The button is called button, let's call it button 1, or it's button. We go here, we just set up the onClick listener, find view by id r.id.button, set onClick listener, new onClick listener. So basically to create a thread it's straightforward. All what you need to do, let's create a runnable class, say let's call it do work, and it extends or implements the runnable interface. Okay, now I need to implement the interface method, which is run. So basically it's a straightforward interface. It just has one method inside it, it's called run, and that's what gets to run in the background or in another thread. Basically what I'm going to do is just gonna create some fake work. Let's say int I equal to 0. It will just some looping work. I is less than say 1000, and then I plus plus, and then another for loop, two nested loops that doing some kind of some work. Okay, j is less than some number. I'm just simply just looping. Okay, so that's the work that we are going to do. Okay, now to run this work is straightforward. If you want to create a thread, you just say thread equal new thread, and basically if you look here, the constructor for the thread would actually expect to get a runnable and it would expect to get a runnable if you say, for example, new do work. So that's a runnable, and you can give the thread a name. What you could do is you could say its name is worker say 1. Okay, and then basically to run the thread you just say thread dot start, and then that basically starts the work. So basically the thread has a runnable inside it, and then this runnable is gonna execute this run, and the name of it is gonna be worker 1. Okay, so basically what I could do is I could just log some things here just for you to know what we're doing. Log.d, and basically I'll say demo, for example, and then that's gonna say started work. Okay, and then basically I could say ended work. Okay, so basically when you run it, what we're going to see is a very simple application. Okay, and when you click on start, and you can look at the Android monitor, you could see that started work, and then after some time it's gonna tell you that it stopped working. Okay, cool. Actually, if you click this again, it will start another thread. Every time you click, it's gonna start another thread. But if you want to really know, to look at the threads and so on, you go to tools. Under Android, there is the Android device monitor. Okay, it will ask you, do you want to disable ADB integration? I'll say yes, and then it will open the Android device monitor, and then under the Android device monitor, you need to find the package name. The package name here is com.example.mshab.thread.demo. Now I have to find that package name. Here it is, and then I click on this update thread. So basically when you click on it, it shows you the threads that you have, and you can see here there is a thread called worker 1, and that's the amount of time it has been running for. Okay, now if I go here and I click that button again, okay, notice there is another thread that got created. So it's definitely a bad idea to connect the button to just automatically creating a thread. You need a pool, because if the user keeps on clicking, you can see what is happening. It's creating more and more workers. And after a while, what's going to happen is that the app is going to crash, because it will not have enough memory to support them, and it will be doing too much work that even the app will be really slow. the main thread would be still scheduled, but it will be scheduled much less time, and you would feel this lag in the app. Okay, so you can see here that's not a good idea to tie the button to just directly creating a thread. What we need to do is we need to introduce a thread pool, and how to create a thread pool is also straightforward. So basically, to create a thread pool, all what we have to do is to create the pool and then assign tasks to that pool. So basically, to create a thread pool, we'll go up here and we'll create a global variable. Actually, even can you hear the sound on my machine? You know, now my machine is starting to run, to try to run, because we have all these threads. So let me stop it. Okay, I'll stop the application, and that should slow down things a little bit, right? Okay, so now for us to create a thread pool, we'll go here and we'll create an executor service. I'll call it my thread pool. Okay, and then inside here I will initialize it. I'll say the thread pool equals, and then I will initialize it using executors dot new fixed thread pool, and you give it the number of threads in the thread pool. I'll say 4. Okay, so I'll create 4 threads. Now to assign to add threads to the thread pool, it's also straightforward. All you have to do, instead of doing it like this, all we'll have to do is we say thread pool dot, and then we say execute, and you pass it the runnable new do work. Okay, so now this executes the work in that thread pool. Okay, so basically let's run this and see what's the difference, right? So we run this, and we go again, tools, Android, and I will do the Android device monitor. Yes, and then the Android device monitor will enable us to see the threads that are running for this application. Let's see. Okay, so here is the Android device, and then I am looking for here is the application. We click on this, and then you can see there are no threads that I scheduled yet. Now when I click on start, there is 1 thread in the thread pool. I click on it again, I click on it again, I clicked on it again. So then these are the 4 threads that are running right now. Now when I click on it again, you see there is no thread that got created. So that thread is being queued. Okay, until one of these threads is done, then that thread gets that thread gets scheduled to execute. And that's a more practical way, and actually that's the correct way of doing things, because otherwise, if you keep on clicking, then and creating new threads and so on and scheduling them, the app will actually crash. But if you have a thread pool, the after you exceed 4, the threads that you schedule, they are scheduled, they are parking, waiting for their turn to execute. And you can see here things have ended. It ended work, ended work, ended work. So 3 of them have, and then 3 of them have been scheduled. So basically, you could see using a thread pool is a good practice, and that's what we have demonstrated today. Please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.